All right, guys, round two. Taryn Temple and myself. I'm Dave Van Auken. This is Coffee and Cage Talk. We inserted already after one show, Taryn. We're already just changing names up. I got to get new logos, new T-shirts in the works. You know what it is.
T-shirts? Are we going to have our faces on T-shirts? I would love that. My parents would wear that every single day of their life.
Oh, my. Okay. This is how we start the show, guys. There's Taryn. I'm Dave. I wanted to do a logo. I really did. I just think it's important to brand in and keep on putting yourself out there in social media. Just with everything we've done in Fight Bananas and over the last 10, 14 months, it's vital. It just really is. And so my wife does a lot of the artwork for us and a lot of the graphic design for Fight Bananas. And I told her about this, and she was so pumped about it, and she threw up she did a cartoon. That was like the first idea she had. She did a cartoon picture of our faces. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
I got to send it to you now. Now I will send it to you. And I was like, I don't know, babe. I'm not feeling it. There's just something off about it. And there, it's, you know how like a bad movie sometimes, or a cult movie, like it's usually not great, but it's gold. You know what I mean? Like Goonies. Like if you watch Goonies now, it's not a great movie, but when we were kids, it's a classic. It's a cult classic. So, and that's what I thought about the artwork, Taryn. I was like, man, this might be the greatest thing ever, or it might be horrible, and I just don't know. So I never showed you. It's been a secret.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Okay.
And of course, if your wife made it, it has to be the greatest thing ever, right? I bet it's awesome. I love what she did with the first little logo thing for the podcast, so I'm sure it was great.
Man, you're going to be a great wife one day. When she cooks, it's like, how was the steak? Oh, babe, was the best ever. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's the only right answer to say. You don't say, I had better at Outback. Relationships don't work like that. It's always the best ever. So I think you're killing it.
Exactly. That's what I've learned. My parents have told me, how marriage works, and usually the wife is right, which is great because I'll be a wife someday. So I can guarantee that I'm always going to be right.
And you said like sometimes it's no. It's always happy wife, happy life. It's just you nod your head, you smile, and you clean, and you do laundry, and you'll get by. That's how I get by in life. So it's been working. Exactly.
And I mean the trump card in her case is she gave birth to your children. So I mean, nothing tops that. That's number one.
Yeah. Anytime there's like a little, she left a cup out, or you have to close the trash can lid. I'm like, nope. She did give birth to twin girls, so she won. She can leave that crap around. It is what it is.
Yeah, she wins every single fight
for
with
sure.
That one.
Talking about winning fights, we had a lot of fights. It's been, since the last time we talked, Fight Island is in full effect. It's just awesome. I am so happy, proud. I'm going to use proud. I'm so proud of being involved with MMA. It's amazing. They're all major sports, baseball and basketball. Baseball should have been around for a month now, and they're still not here. And the UFC did some great things in Jacksonville. They did some great things at the Apex. But not even that. Now Dana White bought a goddamn island to put on fights. I'm just so pumped and proud to be in MMA, as small as we are right now. It's just been a great feeling to be a part of this community.
Exactly. I mean, you went from zero to private island real quick. But, I mean, we haven't gotten to talk since Masvidal Usman. I know you're a big Masvidal guy. You had told me the last time we talked. Yeah. So how are you feeling after that?
I was blacked out. I started drinking round 3 and 4, and I don't remember anything else. No, I'm happy that his name since the fight, in a way, to me, has only got bigger. The pay-per-view numbers leaked out of 1.3 million. It's the 4th highest in the history of the sport. It seems like he's the brand and the cult, the following and the fans are all behind Masvidal, because I think everyone felt, and I'm kind of one of those guys a little bit, that Usman should have put him away. He should have been a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, he won the fight, and I get that. You're at the highest level, so I don't want to be that person. I know how hard MMA is. I know how hard the highest level of mixed martial arts is, so I totally get it. But, it just seems like he slowed down because he knew he was going to win. And, it's just fighters and fighters' mentality is just a little bit different. You're not winning a game. You know what I mean? Like, it is different. When Masvidal knocked out Askren in 6 seconds, it was different from just winning a normal fight. So, it is what it is. I'm happy that his name is still hot. There's still a lot of great things, but of course, in that moment, I was very disappointed he didn't get the job done.
But at the same time, it's still kind of, because he comes into the fight at 8 days notice. He's in a situation where he's basically got nothing to lose, because all the pressure is on Usman at that point. And then going in and getting all of those views on pay-per-view. So in my mind, it wasn't a bad night for Masvidal altogether.
No, absolutely not. To me, and I'm happy you threw Masvidal out there. I'm a Masvidal guy, but I talked to one of my best friends. Been friends since high school. It's been almost 20 years. Him and his wife are big MMA fans as well, and we don't talk to a lot of people, but they came over the house just for a little quick thing, and we were just talking about the fights. And I was like, my whole life, I've always been a Flash guy. It's just who I am. I liked Vanilla Ice. I like Universal Studios. We talked about, I like Flash. I like fun. I like ultra bright colors, right? And in the MMA world, I was always a Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Conor McGregor, Masvidal. I like how they bring more eyes to the game. They're bigger than life. They're just bigger than the sport sometimes, and I love that. I'm attracted to that. But I told him, I was like, I'm going to tell you a deep, dark secret. And I was like, okay. And he's like, becoming my new favorite fighter is Rose Namajunas, Thug Rose. And to me, she's kind of the opposite. She's very plain. She's very dry. She has no, flair. But I'm just getting so attracted to her spirit and her fight game and her mentality. She's, the nickname doesn't go any more, with Rose than Thug Rose. And what she did in that performance and the comeback and all the story behind it, I think Masvidal still won, but right now my second favorite fighter in the game is Thug Rose. I'm in love. I'm falling.
I got to see Rose when I was in college, I believe, in Kansas City. Man, I can barely remember that now. It feels so long ago that I was in college, really only a few years. But I absolutely agree. There's something about her that I'm also a fan, and I'm excited to see kind of what her journey will be. And also, I working with Invicta with a lot of female fighters, I like to kind of cheer for the women even more than the men, just because, I'm seeing in person a lot of the female fighters and seeing that journey.
Right. Did you ever she was already in the UFC when you were in Invicta, right? You never got to see her there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I never got to see her in Invicta. And it's funny, half of the UFC fighters that I had no idea were even in Invicta. I don't know every single fighter's backstory, but on any given night, if I go look at a fight card and I see the female fighters, almost every single time, I can guarantee that most of them have come from Invicta. I mean, it is feeding into the UFC just so quickly. I mean, it is instrumental to the UFC's female fighting game.
Oh yeah, 10,000%. Amanda Nunes, Rose, Valentina, Felicia Spencer. There's so Megan Anderson. There's so many. Literally the whole Angie Hill. Any kind of right now hot MMA, female who's winning. They're from Invicta. They just are. I like the word you use the feeding system. It's a great platform, UFC Fight Pass. It's just so easy. It's so natural, organic. For if you fight there and you do well there, they already see you. They already have your footage. They already know your name. It's already it's just an easier transition to the UFC. And that's why I'm going to island fights. I'm such a big fan of island fights. They put in 9 UFC fighters last year. It's just such a clean transition. It's such a great show, and I can't wait. But real quick, back to you. I knew you had a family outing last weekend. Am I right?
Yeah, first time traveling since obviously the whole quarantine pandemic thing began. And so we went out to, it was supposed to be my cousin's wedding this weekend. So obviously that had to be pushed back to next summer, but they still did kind of a small family engagement party to commemorate what was supposed to be their wedding weekend. So we flew out there. I was a little nervous about flying, but honestly, anyone listening to this nervous about traveling, I can't just guarantee that your experience will be as good as mine, but we flew, and honestly, I felt like I was in a cleaner space than I am when I go to the grocery store, because you get on, everyone had a space in between them. It was not a full flight. It gets wiped down before you get on, and then we get on and we wipe it down with our Sani wipes, things like that. And so I felt extremely comfortable. And then obviously when we got there, we were not going out anywhere. We were just at my cousin's house to celebrate their would-be wedding, so engagement party. So it was awesome. It was good to kind of get out of town, and I think that I was nervous for it, but it was a lot of fun. I don't regret it at all. I would be willing to travel again. Maybe
soon. Maybe things are in the works, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, so wow. So they pushed back the wedding a whole year?
Yes, and it's really tough because, I'm hearing it from, my age, a ton of people are getting married right now. A lot of college friends I have. And so everyone's, in this predicament of, okay, so there's a few options: try to push back towards the fall, try to reschedule a whole year later, which people are usually engaged for a year already. So it ends up kind of feeling like a long time to do another year, have to resend out all your save the dates, have to redo everything. And in some cases, the venue that you had booked, maybe if you want to change it, you can't get out of that if you've already put like down payments in. I'm hearing so many wedding things this summer. And then some other things are that some of those venues have already started booking new brides for next summer. And so the brides that were this summer are now getting pushed out of what was their original spot. So you would think that maybe it would be like the brides from this summer would get kind of first choice, but no, that's not the case. Already booking new brides for next summer. So to anyone that was supposed to get married this summer and had to cancel, I'm so sorry, because I know they're hearing it from, family, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through now just to get married. So I am thankful that I don't have a wedding this summer, because that would be tough. But we actually surprised when we went out to California, my mom and I, to my cousins, we surprised them. They didn't know we were coming. They were kind of down because, their wedding got canceled for this summer. So it was a big surprise, and they were really excited to have us there.
Oh, that's awesome. I could not do that. If I know we're going to have pizza for dinner tonight and something changes, I'm all out of whack. I'm like, what? Pizza is supposed to be tonight? That was our plans. To have a wedding with your significant other, be like, no, it's a year from. I couldn't do it. 4 months, I'd be like, man, I don't know. You're not doing the laundry as fast as I wanted. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Like, I couldn't do it. I would have to be all in. I think I would have to like get married on a field, with a pastor or whoever that is to get married with, and kind of, I hate to say it, to kind of like lock it in, to kind of, make sure it's finalized. And then a year later, you can have a really cool party. Kind of reminds me of like The Office, Jim and Pam. Like, they kind of got married before the wedding because they knew it was going to be this thing because Michael Scott was involved. So that's just me. I don't know how you feel about it. I think I would get married first. I would do it. I would go through it. And then just a year later, have a party, have a get together, even do the whole walk and do the dance, and just, it's another year underneath the belt. I think you get better gifts that way, I think.
Yeah, I don't know though, because I'm someone that is so about like the drama of like the one day, the big day, the only wear the dress once, do the whole thing, just So I don't know if I would maybe consider it doing like something small and then do something big. But I think that I have such this like vision of my future wedding day that I don't think that I could settle at all. I would rather wait than do something small and then throw a party later, because I love the excitement and the drama of the and they open the doors and I walk, everyone turns around. Like that to me is my only vision I have in my mind, and I have to have that.
I love it. Oh my goodness. And your sister they should pay everyone $100. Be like, hey guys, when Taryn opens the door, no one turn their head. Everyone just stay still. Don't do it. You'd be like, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That'd be crazy. So, did your sisters go with you, or was it just you and your mom?
It was just me and my mom. I actually don't have any. I have friends that I call sisters, but I only have 3 brothers.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
because,
brothers.
I call like basically all my close friends sisters because I don't have any real sisters. But yeah, 3 brothers. None of them went and had to stay home and work, so it was just kind of a girls' trip, just me and my mom.
Oh,
so I enjoyed traveling, and you've got some travel coming up too. You're getting to see some live sports action here soon, don't you?
Oh my goodness,
it's kind of rare. Not many people get to see live sports in person right now.
I cannot wait. I need this so bad. I'm just a traveler. I'm a sports guy. I love music and concerts and just anything. I would literally go to a piano show right now, a piano recital for 2 hours and clap my tail off. I cannot wait. So Friday is Bare Knuckle in Mississippi. And why I'm kind of in that area. So Saturday night is Island Fight 63. They're back. It's a really, really big amateur show. They wanted to do an amateur show before a pro show to kind of, get all the nicks and crannies and make sure everything is good and it works through. And so I cannot wait. We've been having some really great podcasts. We talked to both main events. And then, so Bare Knuckle is like 4.5 hours away. And Dean Toole's like, dude, let's go. I'm like, okay, like that's it. Like he could say, hey, we're gonna go and we're gonna watch, dogs race. I'm not a big dog race guy, but like any kind of live action sports, like I am so into. And there's a lot of crossover too. There's in the co-main event, Dylan Kleckler, heavyweights fighting. He fought for Island Fights. A lot of really good fights. And then also, it's kind of cool underneath our banner here at Fight Bananas, we have a Bare Knuckles and Bruce podcast. So, I watch them, I listen to them, and it's just cool to see their stories and kind of like what you were saying about Invicta. It's like, bare knuckle boxing, you think it's such a savage sport. But to hear the guys and their stories and why they do it, and it's kind of, ironic or funny out there. There's starting to become some, rumors almost, or just some scientific things that it's almost in a way safer than MMA or boxing, because when you get hit when you get hit once and in the spot, in bare knuckle, you kind of go down. You go out and you're done. And, of course that's not great, but you're done. In MMA with gloves, sometimes your head, you take more drama, it's like over and over, and especially boxing with all the huge gloves, someone can get hit literally 300 times, and it's like you almost don't feel it as yourself until it's too late. It's like, your brain swells and so on and so on. So a lot of people think it is savagery. For one, it's a great sport to watch live, but it's kind of weird. It's one of those things that, I think if you communicate with the common fan, I think it makes sense. Does that make sense to you, Taryn? Like, it's just one of those things when you get hit, that's it. You're out.
Well, I was actually going to ask you about that because I've never been able to see bare knuckle in person. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what would be, if I'm, a fighter interested in that, why would I choose that over boxing or MMA? So I don't know. I mean, what do you think the pull towards that is? Do you think it's because of what you said, that when you're out, you're not taking as much trauma? Because to me, that seems like something I would, if I was going to go into fighting, that would be last on my list, would be going into bare knuckle.
It's okay. I heard this analogy and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. So as a baseball fan, to me, it's a little bit like a home run derby. There's there's not a lot of details, and there's not a lot of setting up, and of course I don't want to say that. I don't want to dumb it down and say it's not very skillful, but there's just less to it. There's less jabbing, and there's less just it's more of a, hey guys, we're going to go and we're going for a home run. Like, this is what we're doing. We're trying to hit the long ball and just be done with the game. And it's I feel like I am coming off negative on it, saying it's less skill because, you're trying to hit it as hard as you can as a home run, but there's like a skill to that. It's a little bit of it's a different kind of animal, and almost I feel like it's for fighters that a lot of the big time fighters were in the UFC, and just through, it's hard to be on that top end level for a long time. So they're kind of, steering to this, and it's given a lot of people big opportunities for the first time. One guy who's doing really well there is Jim Allers. He's fought for the UFC. He's a really big jiu-jitsu guy too. And when he kind of came over to bare knuckle, I was like, really? He's a great ground fighter. But he's won 4 fights in a row. Talked to him. He's a great family guy, really good dude. And it's, I'm like, really, bare knuckle? And he's like, he kind of said to me, he's like, it was a way to just a competition, and the UFC wasn't giving me a spot. And he goes, dude, it's, like I said, it's like, it's easier. It's like, I kind of have one mindset. I'm going for one thing. It's just a different kind of a sport right now. So, I saw one live. I've been there live once. It's amazing. It's the atmosphere. It's kind of like a hockey atmosphere. I don't know if you've ever been to a live hockey game. It's just spectacular. But it is. It's, definitely, it's got a niche following for now.
I could see why, after listening to why fans would be really interested in that too, because there's not a really long game drawn out strategy in that. It's all right, let's go for the home run. So there's probably a lot of excitement in that, and that there's probably just a lot of huge finishes. So I could see as a fan why that would be a huge pull. You got to let me know how that one goes. We got to talk about it next time we're on here. But it's funny to me because out in Florida, if I go to Florida, to me, that seems like I'm on an island basically, because I'm in the middle of the country where there's nothing but farms. It's pretty flat. I mean, there's a few hills, but that is an exaggeration. So that to me is like, that would be like Fight Island to me. But obviously there's real Fight Island going on right now all the way across the world, which is still just amazing to me. And I'm excited for Fight Island 2. It's funny, we're matching up. Coffee and Cage Talk 2 is lining up on the same weekend as Fight Island 2. So that worked out really well.
Hey, that's why I get paid the big bucks. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's been awesome. It's just the look of everything, everything that we've been hearing, with media members and all the fighters. Just nothing but the best. They're well taken care of. The food, there's literally a racetrack on the island right outside the rooms. Things to do. The beach. They said the water is absolutely just stunning. Warm. It's just it's amazing. It's you just tip your hat off to Dana White. Just what a phenomenal job. I'm just been so intrigued watching it, and just seeing fights again, and a big cage, John Anik, all the UFCs. There's been some great fights. There's been some controversial things that's happened. So it's just been awesome. The last thing I kind of wanted to hit on the bare knuckle thing. There was one last thing, and it kind of just left my head. There you go. Uh-oh. My first mismemory right there.
It happens to me literally all the time. I'll be having conversations, and I'm just so animated in conversation. There's so many things I want to touch on that every once in a while it just flies away. It's a normal thing. It happens to everyone. That's what I love about podcasts, is that everything is just a conversation. You're going to get real life conversational things happening, and that's the best part about podcasts.
For sure. Oh, but I got it. It's back in my head. I'm back in my head. And it's crazy how they start the bare knuckle. They call it toe the line, and they go to 6 feet away from each other. How the UFC, they start on opposite sides of the cage. But for bare knuckle, they both come in right into the middle of the cage, the ring. They start 6 feet from each other, Taryn. Literally, they can touch each other, and the ref goes, go. And some guys literally throw a overhand right in 1 second. And it's just like this instant action. There's just this nervous, like you said, for a wedding day, it's like all this build up, go. So it's a really cool thing how they start it. I'm pumped. This is their 11th show. A lot of people were like, yeah, they're not going to last. A lot of people had a lot of, ups and downs about it, but they're 11 shows in. They got some pretty big names underneath their banner, so I'm really happy for them. I'm happy for any combat sports organization that they give jobs to men and to the ladies that want to fight, and also it helps with media members and people in the business, camera people, all of it. So any kind of combat sports organization, I'm down. I'll give my hard-earned money for.
It's funny you mentioned the start of the fight in bare knuckle, which when I've been in person in Invicta, some of the UFC fights that I've been to, my favorite part of every fight, well, not favorite of every fight, but because obviously the excitement is in the fight itself, but I love, when you first get started, to see if they're going to hit gloves or not, because if they don't hit gloves, to me, I'm even more excited. I love the drama of
right.
Screw you, especially if one person puts their glove out and the other person's like, nope, no thank you. I love that. That to me is just, I love the pettiness of saying nope. I love, obviously, I almost love the disrespect of the MMA fights sometimes, because that to me is the excitement. Whereas normally, I feel like other sports, everyone wants to respect one another. And so sometimes the most exciting thing about MMA fights is the disrespect to me, because that just adds a whole element of excitement to the fight.
Wow, I love it. Is there one in general that you kind of remember off the top of your head, or your favorite heated rival or rivalry, or is there a moment that you kind of remember?
There's been a couple in Invicta. Obviously, I talk about this. My favorite rivalry ever is John Jones, Daniel Cormier.
Yes.
So that to me is the ultimate hatred, and it's real, and you see it. So that to me is my favorite, screw you, disrespect duo, the disrespect duo of the UFC.
Love it. I love it. It's just, and it's kind of usually, one thing I liked, and it was funny, I kind of wanted to bring this up. They had a picture, Calvin Kattar and Dan Ige. They fought Wednesday. They went to war, 25 minutes. It was a great fight. But after the fight, they took a picture, and it was them two, and it was all three quarter members from both teams, and they both had flags, and it was just this really cool, moment. And even there's some people that come up to me, and I'm all in with MMA, and my Facebook is nothing but pictures of my twin girls, once in a while a picture of my son doing something funny or outrageous, and then MMA stuff. And people don't it's still 18, 24 years old. It's still a brand new sport. Baseball's been around for over 100 years. Some people still don't get it, or they think it's barbaric and all that. And it's just awesome these moments happen. And, when I talk to people like that, it's I can show them this picture. It's guys, it's a sport, and there's so much, especially after you go to war with someone, or after, any kind of job site. I feel like when you go through that harsh moment, or, even in life, a dramatic moment with someone, that bond that you have with that person is different. It's unbreakable. And even with the fighters, Ige and Kattar, they literally punched each other for 25 minutes, and then afterwards it's over. They shook hands, they hugged, and now you just have this. They have a bond. They did something together for 25 minutes that they've never done with anyone else, and it's just this really odd thing that I love that the MMA and especially UFC does.
Yeah, I think you see that more times than not, even in the deepest of rivalries, because it is such an emotionally and physically taxing thing to step into that cage and fight for that long, that no matter what the feelings towards that other person are, when it's all said and done, I think every single time that I've thought that these people really hate each other, you see them, coming together, showing respect to each other at the very end. And so that's always been intriguing to me too, to kind of see the emotional highs and lows, the hatred and the love. And there's just so many levels to it, which adds so much excitement to the viewer.
Oh, for sure. We mentioned Fight Island. Dana White, just absolutely just a brilliant move. Just like a brilliant idea, the follow through, everything. Literally from the plane rides to entertainment for the fighters to the, how the cage is set up and everything in between. They just knocked it out of the park. And I was thinking not a lot of people can pull this off or pull off this brilliant move or idea. And it just led me to a really organic question to you is, what has something that you thought of in your life could be I'm a huge Shark Tank guy. I love Shark Tanks, and I feel like I come up with like ideas all the time. It's like a cereal box that opens up from the bottom, not the top. It'd be easier to get the cereal out. What has been something in your life that you thought of, an invention or an idea to maybe help people or help our planet or anything? What has something that you thought of that could be almost like Fight Island?
Oh dear, this is really hard, especially how am I supposed to find anything comparable to Fight Island?
Right.
And, I can't tell you my best idea. I'm going to just go ahead and flip it and tell you my worst idea.
Okay.
This is not it's not like affecting the world. It was affecting me at the time. I was young, and I still remember this so clearly. And I was young, and this is one of the few things I remember from that age. I must have been maybe kindergarten. I don't know. Anyways, long story short, basically me and my friend, we were hanging out at my house, and we had this idea that we were going to kind of, go on. I don't know what we were watching. We must have been watching Dora or something. We thought we needed to go on an adventure. So we pack up 2 backpacks, with the essentials, toys and things like that. No food.
Of course.
And we're young kids. Imagine you're a young kid just packing up a bag, and we walk out the back door of my house, and we don't know exactly where we're going. And we leave like my neighborhood, young children just walking by ourselves. We did not get very far. My mom pulled up in her minivan, and of course she had to have my other 3 brothers with her because we were all young. She couldn't just leave them at home. I have never seen that woman so mad in her life. And in my mind, I was like, we're just going on an adventure. We're going on a trip, a vacation. I thought she would understand, but I've never seen her so mad at me in her life. So that was my worst idea ever. Apparently I don't have any amazing ideas that can measure up to Fight Island, which I'm not going to knock myself for, because that's a pretty high standard. What about you?
Oh yeah, like the Fight Island idea is just, they pulled it off so well. It's amazing. And the crazy thing is about it, it seems like, I hate saying it out loud, but the pandemic is coming back really, really harsh, especially in certain key states like Texas and California and Florida. There's already rumors about August. There's a lot of stuff supposed to be happening at the Apex in Vegas, and there's like even rumors out there that that might not happen. They might shut it down like they did a couple months ago, and they might be. Dana White literally said, he goes, "I might be living here at Fight Island. I might not ever leave for months and on end." To me, wow, I knew I was going to ask you that, but I didn't even set myself up for an answer back.
It's hard, isn't it?
Right, man. I've had some good ones. One, marrying my wife. Boom, there you go.
Oh.
Win that one.
I was hoping you would say that one. I knew you'd be in trouble if you didn't.
That was definitely a good one. A definitely brilliant move. I guess I'll kind of piggyback on yours. I'm bringing him up again. His name is Kyle. So there you go. Kyle should be he's getting like a face. My wife's got to make a cartoon of him too. He's the friend I was talking to Rose about. We were best friends in high school. Me, him, and another guy. His name was Devin. And we were the 3 Musketeers. Freshman year to senior year, Kyle and I, we played basketball, 4 years of basketball, best friends, ate together, slept over each other's house, just high school, right? And he was going away for college. He in another state. I should have went with him. Bad idea, but there you go. And it was the summer, and summer goes, and you're working, you're a senior, and you're about to go into college, and how life happens, there was literally like a week. There were 7 days before he was going to leave. 7 days I was staying kind of at home and working and going in school at home. And he goes, dude, like, we should do something. Like, this is it. Like, we have 7 days left before he goes away for college, and who knows what happens after that, right? And I was like, okay. And this is 2002, senior year there. So I'm aging myself there. He goes, like, let's go on a road trip. Like, let's just do it. I was like, okay. Like, I'm right now, if Taryn, you're like, hey, we're going to go to Vegas to cover the fights. I'd be like, all right. If the wife says that she can watch the kids, we're going, And we went on this road trip. And this is before iPhones and maps on your phone. I remember the night before, it was like a Sunday night, I remember printing out MapQuest. Remember MapQuest on paper?
No.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to make you feel old there. I really didn't. But I had no choice.
I don't know. Hey, this is how it's going to work. You got to be honest with us on the show. So, it was a thing called MapQuest. And I put my address from Daytona Beach, Florida. And we decided our goal was Chicago, Illinois. And that's all we did. We just put in Chicago, Illinois. And, 23 hours. And it's like, on a piece of paper, it's one line from Daytona to Chicago. And it was so horrible. It was like, step one, get in your car, drive to the first stoplight, make a left. 12.2 miles, jump on highway. It was horrendous. Somehow, some way we got there. And there's so many stories. There's probably stories I can tell you off air. There was one story we went to the hospital about it, but we made it to Chicago. It was absolutely, to this day, got 4 kids, beautiful wife. There's some really great moments I've had in my life, but it was easily just this moment, kind of like we almost in a fight. There's this bond that we have together that we did on this road trip, and that was we had no money. I remember what the other friend Devin. I remember I think he had $88. And we were going away for a week, and hotels and food, and we just didn't know any better, and we just went. It was just easily probably the greatest trip of my whole entire life. A couple nights we slept in the car because we tried to save money. Easily, and we did some dumb stuff on that trip, but it was easily probably the best idea we've ever had. That was it.
I love spontaneous trips. I feel like since I grew up, really middle of nowhere, Western Kansas, spontaneous trip to me was like driving 4 hours to Wichita to go shopping because that was the closest mall. So now that I'm a little bit older and I have kind of an opportunity, I have a job, I can do a little bit of those spontaneous things. That's like everything to me. Is when I have an opportunity to go do something, I want to go do it, because I know I'm not always going to be able to do that, especially, when I start having kids. And I'm sure, right. I mean, for you, you can't do everything super spontaneous anymore, but you can still do some spontaneous, but first I have to check with the wife, obviously.
Oh no,
but,
Taryn,
so I'm trying to
the spontaneous bone is literally out. It's with kids. Like I told you, we have planned pizza night, and it has to be it. Like, it doesn't matter. We have our favorite hometown pizza place. Big shout out to our Boteros. There you go. The best pizza in the world. But if something happens, or if that place is closed, or they ran out of pizza because it's so damn good, like, we would go somewhere else. Like, it has to be it. And that's the only way with us having 4 kids. So much stuff is going on. The podcast is blowing up. She's so busy. You just have to kind of stay on top of it. So now in 2020, there's no spontaneous bone in me. Like, this trip, this weekend with Island Fights and Bare Knuckle, it's been months of planning. I even have my hotel room already ready. I know what gas station I'm going to stop in. That's it. Like, those days are definitely for me over. But that was the best. I'm with you. He literally came to my house Sunday morning, and he goes, dude, let's do the trip. We got a week left. Sunday night, we were printing out mapquest.com. We were packing up our bags, and we left Monday morning. It was amazing.
And those end up being the most fun trips. Even when you have no money and no plans, sometimes that somehow works out to be the best time. I want to go back. I want to make a little bit of a comparison, though, back on the Fight Island thing, because I was thinking about this yesterday, just how brilliant, Dana White has been during this time. Because you look at, the only thing really comparable to it right now would be, NBA trying to, they're doing the bubble. They're doing the Disney thing. And already there have been so many complaints. I mean, at the same time, things we wouldn't complain about. These are like celebrity athletes, all that things. Their hotel room looks fine to me, but in their mind, they're like, this hotel, I'm not loving it. The food sucks. It's not great. Meanwhile, anyone, doing the UFC thing right now is flying to Abu Dhabi, getting all the things, the racetrack, the food, the views. So, I mean, to even try to compare the two on who's winning this quarantine time right now, like UFC is far and away blowing out any competition at this time.
Oh, easy. And not even that, just how quick, the Jacksonville shows, literally Justin Gaethje became the interim lightweight champion. That was like 80 days ago. It's almost been 2-3 months ago, and it seems like it's so, soon. Like it seemed like it was just yesterday, but they've had shows in Jacksonville, and then they had a little bit of time off, and then they made it work at the Apex Center. A couple shows there, UFC 250, Amanda Nunes and Felicia Spencer, and then all this build up for Fight Island, and the bubble. And one thing I got to say is like, the bubble was in Orlando. I'm an Orlando guy. I actually know exactly where they're at. I've actually stayed at that hotel. My wife and I stayed at that hotel. And so, like, it's been there. I know what it is, and I'm not trying to give UFC and Dana White all the credit in the world, but I will give them this bonus of, like, that was already there. NBA bubble was there. They're just kind of said, hey, guys, we're going to take it over, and we're going to give you X amount of money, and we're going to get, players there. The Fight Island, there wasn't a cage in Abu Dhabi. Like, they literally built this indoor arena with locker rooms and cages and the technology for microphones and cameras, and we're getting it on UFC Fight Pass, and we're watching it on pay-per-view and on ESPN Plus. What they've done is just like light years away in what, 70 days? Like, he's like, guys, I'm going to make a Fight Island. And it's like a couple months later, it's here. We've already seen events. It's gosh, like it really is incredible. It might be, we're going to look back on this, Taryn, we're going to like have this round 4073 here at Cage and Coffee Talk, and we're like, remember when Dana White created a Fight Island? Like, that was the smartest, most brilliant move in the history of sports.
Oh, 100%. We're going to look back on this time, and obviously a million other things going on, but when we think of sports during the pandemic of COVID-19, that's what we're going to remember. I mean, Dana White has definitely solidified UFC's place during this time forever. Everyone's going to remember this. It's almost otherworldly. And then, I mean, you mentioned, building everything, all the infrastructure needed, but then think about all the medical staff needed for what they're doing out there. They've got a whole building that they're, it literally looks like it, you're just in another time and another world. They're going in there and getting tested every single day. And it really is crazy. I would have never, a year ago, we would have never expected this to be happening. So
true. Wow. What a crazy time. Man, round two. I like it. Round two. Talked about your trip with your cousin, with the wedding that didn't happen. We've went some great stories of old school, some road trips, and a little UFC talk. So, hey, I think we're there. Anything else? Anything in the last week exciting? Any shows? Any new stuff in your life?
I started Yellowstone this week on Amazon Prime.
Damn.
So we're only a few episodes in.
Yeah.
And it's weird because you have to pay for it even if you have the Amazon Prime subscription, which I thought was strange, but it is really good so far. It's kind of in a Western feel, cowboys working on a ranch. There's a lot of drama. And, I grew up, in the country. So, I wasn't fully in the country, but where I'm from is the country. And so that I love seeing I love the cowboy shows and things like that. So that's a good one. I will recommend that one to you, but we're still early on. So if you don't like it, you can't blame me.
No. You had me at cowboy. Yeah, I'm a huge Clint Eastwood guy. I'm an old school Western cowboy guy. I love that stuff. So that's fine. Yeah, one of my buddies loves that show, and he kind of told me about it. But he was like, he's that guy that every time, oh, that movie was awesome, I don't go see it. Oh, that movie or that show is no good, I watch it. He's the opposite guy. So he told me about it. He's like, dude, this is a great show. I'm like, nope, I'm going to skip that one. So, definitely, hey, if you're going to say it's good, now that's two people. I might have to give it a try now. It's just, that's the rule.
Yeah, but I also don't know if I have the best taste in movies and shows. But I've heard a lot of other people like this one. So don't just take my word for it, because I tend to like pretty not great movies and just kind of simple storylines, things like that sometimes. So, but other people have liked it, so I feel confident in this suggestion.
It's so funny. I'm Will Ferrell, and I think it's Austin Powers. He's like if you ask him any question 3 times, like my kids, it's like they just woke up and they're like, I want a treat. I'm like, no, son, you don't wake up and just get a treat. Like, you have to eat breakfast. And he goes, no, I want a treat. I'm like, son, no. Dad, I want a treat. I'm like, okay, you asked me 3 times, you get it now. Like that. I'm that guy. I'm Will Ferrell.
Yep, that's going to be me too as a parent. I can already tell. Or not. I might be the opposite and just, no, don't ask me again, or else you're in your room for the rest of the day. So
I'm definitely I'm a little bit more of the pushover, and my wife is definitely the, hey, kid, get in your room. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But man, I absolutely love it. Round 2 officially in the books. I can't wait for round 3. I'm pretty sure we're pretty soon going to be doing this via Skype, StreamYard, so we can see each other and face reactions. People love videos and love to see us. So I think pretty soon, guys, this will be into video action. And then 3 is, I don't want to give out any spoiler alerts just yet, but pretty soon I know we're going to have guests come on the show as well. So if you are listening and liking it, watching it, and you want to be like, hey, get on this person or this person, or have any ideas, if you want to hear us to do a top 10 movie list, whatever you want, reach out to us. Taryn Temple, what's your IG handle?
At Taryn, Taryn, Temp, TEMP. Follow for follow. Just kidding, I don't know.
I'm at David Van Auken. I was early in the Instagram days, so I got my full name. There's not a lot of those left out there, so I'm super pumped to have my IG handle since, like, I don't know, 12 or 11, whenever it started. I was like, yeah, I'm on to this. So super pumped. Taryn, man, appreciate your time. We love having you on. And definitely stay safe out there. Hopefully we can all get through this, and can't wait for round 3.
Neither can I. Round 2 is fun, and I'm excited for round 3.
Awesome. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.
See you, Dave.
Later.